Alright guys, this came in. It's a very close friend of mine's. 5-horse Sno-Trac. "20" but it's actually a single stage. It is a Tecumseh motor, so we'll probably end up redoing the carb on it. But if you just move it around a little bit, it's a single stage. There's the drive on the side there, and there's no auger in the back. So I think the first thing we should do is lift it up. And go to plan B, whatever that is. Alright, so now we're just going to have a little bit of a look at it. I don't know if you can see, but underneath the tank nub piece of fuel line has broken. So we'll probably just pull the tank off and rinse the tank. And I'd like to see in behind this carburetor before we get excited. And one other thing that's happening with this, we'll turn it around for light, is the rewind doesn't engage. So the only way to start it is with the electric on-off button, which works, but when you're far away from the house, you can't start the, if you turn it off down the block, you can't start it up again. So it's got a couple of issues. And I think the first thing we'll do is take the cover for the carburetor and the gas tank off and go from there. Are you with me? Well, I don't think there's a lot of hours on this machine. Oh, there's a plate in the back. I forgot about that. Okay, so 3/8. Something's been sitting around this long, you gotta clean the tank, Okay, gas tank. Now what I was worried about that this nub one was broken right off on the gas tank, but I think it's just the fuel line that has. Yeah, it's just the fuel line. Good. Problem number 1 solved. Let's get a tree going. Sorry about that. Okay, carburetor. I have to just lower this a little bit for me. And I think these are, 2 screws missing on these retainers. I don't like that. So I'm going to pull the choke knob off. And there's 1 screw holding the box on it. That means that somebody's been in here. So like I've said before, on almost every snowblower there's no air filter. Because it's so cold up here in Canada, and on a snowy day there's no dirt in the air. Maybe out on the farm. Good. I hate dropping stuff. So I'm just taking the bowl off the carburetor. Right there is the carburetor, right? And then I'm taking this nut off, which is actually a jet, and I'm taking this bowl off, and we're just gonna do an exploratory look. Just, oh, it's dry as a bone. Look at that, dry as a bone. Which is probably good. There's the jet. So over on this side, the fuel line comes through. I know, isn't that wild? The fuel line comes through behind the shroud of the motor, huh? So I'm just going to take that fuel line off of there. Nothing's easy. Are you with me? Yes, you are. So I'm just taking this turn-off valve off this fuel line, and holy man, she's been on there a few years already. There we go. Holy! So that's just the valve that turns off the gas. Okay, and this fuel line doesn't look too bad, thank goodness. So, let's get that gas tanker rinsed out. I'm just going to pour a little gas in here and swoosh it around. I'll be back in a bit, guys. Okay, I know you guys are curious to see if I'm going to spill any fuel or not. There we go. So that's why it never hurts to do. Alright, now what's next? We need some fuel line to get this gas tank back on. Let's see if this fuel clamp will fit on this fatter line. Yes, I like that. Okay. So how much are we going to need here? Going to go like that, not very much. 2 inches maybe? Okay, fuel, it might be a little long. Oh boy. Oh, I might have to go to the thinner fuel line. Geez, I don't want to do that. Okay, we have to go to the thinner fuel line. Okay. I didn't see a clamp for that one on the tank, eh? Is this going to work? Maybe. So what I'm working on now is just simple stuff, right? The tank is going to go on like that. So this is going to go on like that. And that squeezes up like that. Good. And then we connect it. Well, I guess we can do it all at once, eh? Good. Now, pliers to move the clamp over. Okay, we'll turn that valve off. Now, Bruce's Repair Shop. Hi. I am. That'd be great. Okay, come on to the, you might as well just come to the back and skinny your truck up along the edge. Alright guys, so I have been playing with this carburetor. I cleaned it. I can get the snowblower to run good. I left it overnight with the valve open here so that I would make sure it wouldn't drip gas from the needle and seat. But it just, when you adjust the power for lean and then rich, it runs like it has a miss on rich. So that carburetor, there's nothing to it, you know. There's just the power valve, the idler screw, and a jet going into the throat of the carburetor. So when I talk about that, I've got one right here. There's the power valve, so you can set that for lean turning in or rich turning out. There's the what I call the idle circuit, and 3/4 of a turn out is usually the way it goes. And when I turn the jet in, it surges, and when I turn it out, it misses it, and there's no in between. So I'm not sure which, what my next problem is. I'm tempted to try this carburetor, but this one says rebuilt, runs rough. Right? For 5 horsepower, that's exactly what this is. Now this one came off of a tiller, but it's a different year, newer. All right. Well, I took the carburetor right off of the intake manifold there, like that, and this goes onto the motor on this side right here, like that. But look at this. It's almost like, I'm joking, but it's almost like somebody dragged this behind a truck or took a grinder to it or something. So we may have a major intake manifold leak here. So now I didn't have much luck on the last carburetor sanding job I did, but I'm going to take this over to the wire brush. I'm going to completely clean this up, and then I'm going to sand this on a piece of 200, not 600 grit, and see if it comes around. So I'll be right back, guys. You know, guys, I think I'm getting somewhere. At first, I just touched it on some 100, and now I'm using 220 on the advice of Road King and other guys. And look at that. That is a... Can you guys see? Let's see. Okay. Pointer. Right there, it hasn't touched at all. And over here, it's nice and shiny. So I'm going to continue doing this. And it almost looks like it was hit with a hammer there, or something impacted it. So let's just keep going. Now I know this isn't the flattest, but it hits pretty flat. Well, that's amazing. All right, that's the exhaust port. A gasket on there is good. You can even get along without one if you have to. But on this one, somebody gooed up on the other side of that one I sanded. Somebody has gooed a gasket on there, and I don't believe in using goop on intake gaskets. So now I'm going to just use my die grinder with a buffing tool, and I'm going to just clean that up, and that's going to be good enough, guys. I'll be right back. Okay, this is where I need a camera woman. But you get the idea. Okay, that looks better, right? But it's hard to say whether I ground down material on the intake port. But I don't think I did. I took, if I can just reach that while you're watching, I took this and I used it as a straight edge, and I shone a light behind each section, and it looks okay. Maybe 2/1000ths of a gap down there on this corner. So now we're going to put it back together again and see how it runs.